Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, back at my Halloween series in between all of the Stamptember videos. So for today's cards and bookmark, I am using the Mama Elephant Little Boo Agenda and the Little Mummy Agenda stamp set and coordinating wafer dies. The Ghost set came out last year, I think? I can't remember. I've had it for a while. And then the Mummy one came out this year, and it's Mama Elephant. I have been hoarding Mama Elephant products for years. So, to start off with, because sets like this have a ton of little images, I kept the wafer dies connected. There was only a couple of the little companion images that had wafer dies nested inside, so I snipped those out. But all the little ghosts are connected, all the little mummies are connected. And I die cut them first from just a piece of black cardstock, just to give me a guide. And then I have that cardstock in my mini MISTI, and I'm lining up the stamps with each opening. So this takes a little bit of time, honestly not very long. Like I think in real time it took me less than 5 minutes. But I just went along and tried to kind of center them as much as I could within each of those openings. And then once I have that, I can close the lid of my MISTI. All those stamps are lined up. And I'm going to stamp them onto some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White 80-pound cardstock with Simon's Intense Black ink. And off camera, I actually do this several times because it's like after I've taken the time to line them all up, why not stamp multiple sheets of this? So I ended up stamping, I think, like 3 extra sheets of all these images. And I'll show in a couple of minutes that I'm just going to keep it with the packaging. Because I'm only going to use 1 sheet of these images, like 1 impression, for these cards. So I did the exact same thing with the little mummies. I had die cut a piece of black cardstock, lined up all these images, and there's a ton of them, and they're so cute. They're so cute. So lined them all up with those openings, and then same thing, stamping them onto this Neenah Classic Crest Solar White 80-pound cardstock with the Intense Black ink. So now I've got 2 sets of images here, and they're ghosts and mummies, which are some of my favorite images to color. I've mentioned this before. It's like, I love penguins and polar bears and ghosts and mummies, and what do they all have in common? They're easy to color. So I did super speed up this coloring. Again, it didn't take super long. This 1 sheet of ghost took me like maybe half an hour. But yeah, they didn't take very long because, again, they're simple. I used blue violets for the ghost bodies, like blue, like the really, really pale ones, which, again, I'm trying to like really move out of my knee-jerk reactions with colors and things like that. And I thought it'd be kind of cute to give them a little bit of a purple cast. So I did that, and then I just did very basic, very simple coloring for just all the little accessories, the hats and the pumpkins and all those things. Just keeping the coloring simple, because these are small images. Like, you can definitely do really involved coloring and get amazing results. I just, as usual, I bit off more than I can chew, and I'm doing 2 full sheets of images, end up making 2 cards and a bookmark, and I'm amidst doing like daily videos. So yeah, keep the coloring simple. Images like this are so cute anyway. It doesn't take much. So after I did the ghosts, I did the mummies. And with the mummies, again, super simple. I did all of the little skin areas first. And I just used a variety of all of my Copic markers to give all of them just different skin tones. Another thing I thought of, which I've done this in the past, is rather than do like real skin tones, is to do something like kind of greenish color, almost like, like zombie-ish sort of an idea. That would be really cute too. But I just thought these would look really cute with all the different little skin tones, because they're just, as I was doing this, I was like, they're meant, I think, more for like planners and that sort of thing, like people that like to decorate their planners. And as I was doing this in like die cut, I was like, these would make the cutest little stickers. I could run these through my Xyron machine and like, but I don't decorate my planner. But anyway, after I did all my coloring, this is where keeping the dies together works out so nicely, because I just tape it on, I'm done. I don't have to like line up every single individual wafer die. I can just do it all at once, throw it all in one pass. In fact, I got everything because I'm using my big Spellbinders Platinum machine that's 9x12, that cutting plate you can see there. So, and I use this for doing all my big die cutting, which I'm going to do again for all my slimline dies. So I've got all my little images die cut. I'm going to keep that black cardstock I cut originally, stuck it in the back of the die package. Then I don't have to use it again. Like, don't have to do it again. It's already die cut and it's good to go next time. And then I also kept the extra sheets that I'd stamped with the stamp packaging. So everything's all bundled together. Next time I pull this out, it's all done for me. So I don't have to like do this process again. So I did all that. And then I'm using the Slim, is it Slim City? Because now I already forget the name of the wafer die and I have to actually go and look. Slim Film City wafer die set from Mama Elephant. There's a ton of dies in this set. I don't even use them all. I use this rectangle, almost like a postage stamp edge. And I die cut white cardstock with that twice. And then I die cut black cardstock and used like the city skyline edge from that die set to die cut. And I'll get to that black cardstock in a minute. But for the white backgrounds, I am using one of my MFT Cloud Edges stencil. And I'm working on my Wendy Vecchi Make Art Station because it's magnetic. Especially with something like this where I am moving the stencil constantly. It is just easier so I don't have to tape anything down. I'm just using the magnets to hold everything in place. And then this way I can keep moving the stencil because the stencil is not long enough for these pieces. And then for the green one, I'm using Twisted Citron Distress Ink, and I'm working with my Studio Cadia blender brushes. So I did my cloud background, and then I'm actually layering a stencil on top, which for me is way out of the norm. I never layer stencils. This is just not the way my brain thinks. I love seeing other people layer stencils together. They get these amazing looks and amazing backgrounds. I just never think of it. But this time I did. So I used the MFT Ray of Light stencil, same color of ink. And then after I did the stenciling, I took that ink, smushed it onto the craft sheet there, and splattered it on the background. And now I'm repeating this process again with Wilted Violet Distress Ink. And again, I have this like super sped up in editing because it's the exact same process. I'm just using the Studio Cadia blender brush and like starting on the stencil, basically pulling the color off the stencil. That's kind of how you get that really nice, like smoother blend and a bit more of that crisp color right at the very base of the stencil. And just constantly rotating this cloud background stencil, completely covering this white background here. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to use that Ray of Light stencil, blend that, and of course add some purple splatter, because why not? So added a little bit more of that purple ink, and then I'm going to line up this stencil, hold it down with those magnets, and then pull in that color again. And I'm trying to avoid those the side edges, because again, the stencil isn't big enough for this card, or for this background. So just trying to avoid that so I don't get any like straight lines stenciled in there. And then add my purple splatter. And then after I had done that, I actually pulled out the Mama Elephant Bookmark wafer die set. Something I'm pretty sure I showed in a haul video like a year or two ago. I will have links to everything, almost everything I show that I made with today. I'll have links to. So I die cut the Bookmark from the same smooth white cardstock, and then I'm doing the exact same thing. But with this, I'm only just doing the purple ink. So I'm using the Wilted Violet ink and doing the cloud background first, just kind of continually rotating that stencil. And then I keep checking because I die cut the Bookmark from black cardstock as well. And then I use that City Skyline wafer die on it, just like I'm going to do for the card bases. So just kind of making sure everything's lining up here. And then lined up that Ray of Light stencil and blended that Wilted Violet ink over that as well. And then I'm going to add, of course, a bit more purple splatter with that same ink. So now I've got 2 card fronts and a bookmark made, stenciled anyway. I'm going to start assembling all these things. And then from that Slim Film City die set, there's a big cloud edge type layer die in that set. So I die cut some lime green cardstock from my stash. And then I'm using the My Favorite Things card-sized star confetti stencil set. There's 2 stencils here. And I'm basically just using this one stencil, the one I'm currently using. The other one I was using more as a mask here and there, just to keep me from getting ink around the straight edges of the stencil. And then I was stenciling those same inks, so Twisted Citron on this green, stencil all those stars, and then added a bit more green splatter. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing with some purple cardstock. So I die cut it with that same wafer die, and then I'm blending the Wilted Violet Distress ink over this one star confetti stencil, and just going around just the perimeter because the center is going to get completely covered up. I just wanted the stars to kind of peek through and just give it that little extra something. So just went along, didn't worry how the middle looks because it's going to get covered by the background when I start assembling these card fronts. So did the exact same thing, moved the stencil around, blended all those stars on, added a bit of splatter, which on this purple cardstock doesn't fully show up in the end, but habit. What I did to the one, I got to do the other. So I did all that, and then I pulled out this Mama Elephant Happy wafer die. This came out forever ago. I die cut it from white cardstock, and I'm stacking 3 layers together because I like that dimension with word dies. So I'm adhering them all together with my craft tacky glue. And then once these are adhered, I pulled out carved pumpkin distress ink. I needed to get some orange in there because I got the purple and the green and the black. I needed some orange. So I'm using the carved pumpkin, and I have a little just post-it note for my fingers. I do this for the die cut. I don't care if I get ink on my fingers or on my fingernails, that doesn't bother me. But when you're working with distress inks and inks like this, it's very easy to get fingerprints in the finish, and it shows up like really well. It's amazing just how reactive these inks are. So I'm keeping that from happening on these die cuts by just pressing down with the post-it tape instead. So I blended on the carved pumpkin, and then I'm going to add a teeny bit of the Crackling Campfire. This is the new color that was just released like last month or earlier this month, whenever it was. Last month? Something. Love it. This is a much more like deeper and richer than Carved Pumpkin, so I only added just a little bit to give it kind of that ombre look. And then I set that aside. And then to make my sentiment say Happy Halloween, I have the Lots of Letters stamp set from Mom Elephant. I was originally going to just stamp these little block letters and then trim each one out real quick, like just unevenly because they'd be easy. They're straight edges. But then I really liked how they looked stamped all in one line like this. So I'm inking them up with VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink. I'm going to stamp this twice, and then I'm just going to trim this out with my paper trimmer so it's just all on one piece. Plus it saves me having to deal with a ton of little pieces to adhere. And then for the bookmark, I'm using the Goodreads set that I got when I bought the Bookmark wafer die. And I'm stamping one of the sentiments on this, like the cityscape portion that'll be on the bottom here with clear embossing ink, heat embossing it with white embossing powder. And then I'm going to ink up just another sentiment from that same set with the Nocturne ink, making sure it stamps clear, good. Now I can stamp it on, right directly onto the bookmark. And I just like, this is where I fell asleep. I need to make more bookmarks. They're so cute. Anyway, my card bases are 3.5 inch by 8.5 inch heavyweight white note cards. And I'm adhering those cloud layers first. And then I've got those cityscape backgrounds that I die cut from the black cardstock. So adhering those to the stencil backgrounds. Adhering everything flat just with craft tacky glue. So I've got both my card bases here. And then I'm going to start adhering the sentiments. So I've got that big happy word that I had die cut and inked up with the orange inks. And then I'm going to adhere the Halloween with a little bit of foam squares just to be able to pop it up right over the sentiment. So once I'm going through and doing this, like I'm basically doing everything like I do in all my videos when I'm doing more than one, doing everything at the same time. You know, I did all the stamping at once, all the coloring at once. I did pretty much all the die cutting at once, all the stenciling at once, etc. It makes things go a lot faster. And even saying that, it still looks like a bomb went off in my office more often than not. But anyway. For the one with the ghosties, I adhered a bunch of them with thin 3D foam squares. Some I glued down, some I popped up with the thin 3D foam squares, so they're floating, obviously. With the little mummies, I used, like, there's so many in this set. I used a ton of them. And on these, I'm just adhering directly on. I thought it'd be cute to, like, stick them on top of the building. Like, they're all over the place. It's cute. It just, now I'm kind of thinking, because I keep thinking zombies, not mummies. And now I'm like, oh, next year, I hope Mama Elephant, I hope they see this. I hope they do zombies next year, like little agenda zombies. How cute would that be? Seriously. Seriously. I would remake this card just to do zombies. I think that'd be so fun. Anyway. Adhered all of them into place. And then assembled my bookmark. I'm adhering everything really flat on the bookmark, and I'm not going to add any embellishments because it's a bookmark. I don't want any like pokey bits and a bunch of dimension or anything like that. So the bookmark, I used some of the ghosts and some of the little mummies. And the bookmark was inspired by that little ghost in the set that's holding a book and has glasses. Like, how cute. How cute is that? So I did all that, and then I had a bunch of images left over. I could have done multiple cards, but this was still pushing it. So I just adhered all the little images on the inside. I had stamped extra little toilet paper rolls, because, of course, from the little mummy set, and adhered those on the inside of the card. And then my little extra ghosts on the inside of the other card. So they've got their little images. I didn't add sentiments, because I just kind of left them open-ended because it's Halloween. So you can just say whatever you want. So adhered those, and then as a final bit of embellishment, which I had to do, I have these little bats from Little Things by Lucy's Cards that I have been trying to get for the longest time, and I finally was able to get them in, like, when Simon had them in stock. So I have the little bats. I have my Studio Caudia iridescent stars, which are just love. I've used these in a million videos. And some Studio Caudia neon tangerine crystals, which just pulls in that orange a little bit more. So because it's a slimline card, I was a little extra heavy-handed adding all my little embellishments. So I've got little bats and little stars and little orange crystals, and all of these I adhered into place with the craft tacky glue. And again, did not add them to the bookmark because I don't want a bunch of bumps and things like that on a bookmark. However, I did go through my stash and I found some old Doodlebug Halloween twine in my stash, so I added that to the bookmark just to finish everything off. And that was it for today's video. So other than the twine, I think everything else I have links to. But yeah, I'll have a link to my blog post in the description box below the video. I will have a supply list. I'll link to everything I use so you can check it out below if you are interested. I'll have all these pictures on my blog as well. Thank you all so much for watching, for subscribing, thumbs upping, commenting, all of it. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye!